All right, now to our other top story. Across the globe, an attack at Manchester Arena is sending shockwaves around the world. 22 people died when a bomb exploded after an Ariana Grande concert, and dozens more were hurt.
And now, within the last few minutes, British Prime Minister Theresa May increasing the terror threat level from severe to critical, meaning the military will now replace police officers at some public events. We have team coverage on the Manchester explosion this afternoon, including what local venues now are doing to step up security.
But first, Shernmin Chow is updating us on what we know about the attack. Shernmin.
Yeah, Rika, the big question, of course, is whether this was part of a wider, more coordinated effort. British authorities have identified the suicide bomber as 22-year-old Salman Abidi. They have recovered his remains along with metal nuts, bolts, and ball bearings from the explosive that was found outside a main entrance to the concert venue where Ariana Grande played last night. A 23-year-old man has also been arrested in connection with the attack. Authorities serving 2 warrants today, raiding Abidi's Manchester home, where there was another explosion that rattled nerves.
Controlled explosion to gain entry, and again I just wish to reassure those communities that was something that we were doing to gain safe access. It is nothing to be concerned about.
ISIS has claimed responsibility. Authorities are tracing Abidi's movements to see if he was inspired by or assisted by any larger groups. A vigil was also held this evening in London. World leaders condemned the attack, including President Trump, who said terrorists and those who give them aid should be driven out from society. At last word, 3 victims, one as young as 8, have been identified, and some terrified parents still have not been able to locate their children and simply do not know what happened to them.
Can't imagine what those parents are going through.
Indeed.
It's a terrifying thought.
Sherman, thank you. The Cynthia Woods Mitchell Pavilion in the Woodlands is tightening security tonight for a John Legend concert. So starting tonight, bags can be no larger than a standard sheet of printer paper, and extra police will be watching over the crowds. There will also be more officers hired to work security at NRG Stadium on Wednesday. That is where U2 is set to have a concert. Now, the attack in Manchester has venues around the world taking a hard look at their security plans.
And as you just said, tomorrow night, one of the biggest bands in the world, U2, playing Houston. Adam Bennett live outside NRG. Adam, have they already made some changes?
Well, Jason, they have. I'm told by the county judge that NRG Stadium will be adding extra security for tomorrow night's show. They'll also be closing the entrance at McNee Road. Again, all of this just out of an abundance of caution. So bottom line, if you are going to the U2 show tomorrow, just get here a little bit earlier than you normally would. Other than that, stadium officials tell me it's pretty much going to be business as usual for fans coming to the Joshua Tree 30th anniversary show. In fact, Energy Park posted a list on Instagram today of what you can and can't bring. Again, it's the same as any other concert. U2 fans going to this show, of course, they're as horrified as anyone else about what happened in Manchester yesterday. But one fan tells me that other than getting to the show with her and her group a little bit earlier, she said they are not letting fear change their routine.
Sure, anything could happen, but anything could happen to me when I leave the office, right? Or leave here and, get in a car wreck or something. I think if it's your time, it's your time.
And in fact, Harrington says after going to tomorrow's show, she plans to see U2 2 more times on this tour. Now, tomorrow's show here in Houston will be U2's first show since that tragedy in Manchester. I'm told by the county judge that there are no specific threats here or anywhere else across Harris County. Live here at NRG Stadium, Adam Bennett, KHU 11 News.
All right, Adam, thank you.
And right now, even more on this attack and what it means for security here and around the world.
Jim Conway joins us now. He is the president and managing director of Global Intel Strategies and a former FBI agent. Thank you so much for coming here today. We talk about these attacks, and oftentimes these attackers have more than one plan in the works. So are there chances that there might be a follow-up or a second attack near Manchester?
Well, when we look at Boston and other events, yes, there always is oftentimes a follow-up. And that's the thing what the Brits are really looking at right now, and they're scrambling 24/7, full court press to see if this is part of a larger plot or if there's a phase 2 or a phase 3. And you can rest assured that they're looking at all of those aspects. And that may be why we have seen an uptick in the threat level in Britain go from severe to critical, because the intel services may be saying we're seeing something on the radar screen.
targeting kids and teenagers and children. What does that mean, in your opinion, now?
Well, if you look at the psychology of terrorism, that's the epitome. I mean, you're hitting tweens, kids between 11 and 15 years old. When you saw the videos and the pictures of parents looking for their children, this is the epitome.
What's scarier than that?
It's the biggest punch to the gut, but it also maximizes and exploits their message because it's covered by the world, and it hits everybody right between the eyes. And that's the epitome of terrorism. That's what these guys want to do.
Yeah.
You said that when these things happen, people worry about their safety here at home. We just saw Adam Bennett's piece talking about security. Is that the way to go about it, having more security, more of a police presence?
Well, that's part of it. It's, you know, it's part of the bigger picture. And there's a lot of things that go on that people don't see. And oftentimes people ask me, are events here in Houston safe? There's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes. There's a lot of proactive things in terms of intelligence collection, analysis, and so forth, and looking at potential threats in the community. And then the front line are those people you see at events and the magnetometers and so forth. But I have a lot of confidence. We have different demographics here. We don't have the amount of freedom fighters that are in the Iraq and Syria theater coming back to the UK and France that those folks have to deal with. Our demographics are different. We have greater assimilation within our society. So I don't think the threat level is here. Nonetheless, we have concerns. We had San Bernardino, we've had Boston, and those are things that the JTTF and the police are constantly monitoring.
But everyday Joe and Jane, just keep your eye out, right? I mean, that's one of the big pieces of advice.
You know, it seems like we beat that cliche to death. If you see something, say something. But people need to get a certain amount of situational awareness. Take your face out of the phone. Pay attention to what's going on around you. If you see something that's an anomaly, like people saw in Boston, like people saw in San Bernardino, but they didn't report it, say something. And we're living in those times. It's sad to say, but it seems like every week we're talking about another event in the world.
All right, Jim Conway, thank you for that perspective.
Thank you.